What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? So first of all, let me say hello. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Let me start off by fully apologizing that this has taken so long. This was supposed to be April's book, child. It's May. And I do apologize. I don't have any excuses. I just dropped the ball. I just totally dropped the ball. But we're gonna pick it up. We're just gonna go ahead and make this May's book, and we're gonna push it back. I wanted to do next month. I wanted to do the sequel to Coldest Winter Ever, but I really haven't been getting good reviews on that. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but so welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to discuss our book selection for the month. Excuse me, it was the month of April, but we're gonna push it back to May. The book is called The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. Now, a couple of things about this book. You have to check, because of some of the things that they're discussing in this book, you have to go back and check your copyright date. And because they're talking a lot about like the internet and a lot of Instagram being new and people using it as a tool and a lot of online vlogging, which for 2021, that's not necessarily innovative and new. But when you go back and you check the copyright, you see that this book came out in 2016. So if we get in our time machines and we go back 5 or 6 years, it seems like Instagram and stuff has been around so much longer. But if you go back 5 or 6 years, it was around, but it was still something that people were still figuring out how to use it the way we use it today, right? And so the book, it kind of gives us some of that. Now, I posted a video last week about this book is going to be made into a movie, and the main character is going to be played by Gabrielle Williams. I also saw that Niecy Nash has also signed on to be in the movie, and I'm wondering if she's going to play the part of Darcy. I could absolutely see Niecy Nash playing the brash antagonist to Jenna in the book. So I definitely am interested. So now as I'm reading it, you recently called Instagram the gram. It felt it's right, the gram, right? So now as I'm reading the book, I love it, but I hate it at the same time, because now when I'm reading the book, I hear Gabrielle Union's voice. And I see Gabrielle Union's mannerisms when I'm reading the book, because I know she's going to be playing the character. And I kind of hate that, because I'm not one of those people that dislikes Gabrielle Union. I like her. I like Gabrielle Union. I think she's sort of one-dimensional, but the character that she plays well. Does that make sense what I just said? I don't want that to be like a diss. I think Gabrielle Union is going to play the hell out of this character. I think this is in her wheelhouse. You understand what I'm saying? This is absolutely in her wheelhouse. And until she gives me something different, then that's what it's going to be. But I absolutely could see Niecy Nash as the character of Darcy. And if you haven't read the book, then you may or may not know what I'm talking about. So let me jump into this a little bit. And if anybody wants to come up, let me know. I can give you the link if you want to come up and join the conversation. I don't do that on my main channel. I don't be dropping links, but over here, because this is like a book discussion, if you want to come up and join the conversation, I'm open to that. You just have to show me who you are backstage. I won't put your face up on, to everybody else if you don't want to be seen, but I need to know that you're a real person and not, something crazy behind the screen. But if you want to come up, I will drop the link and you can come up here. So let me say this. First of all, this book was recommended to me by a friend of mine who is I don't want to say a librarian, because I think they're called media specialists now. And her and I definitely speak a lot about Black books. I want this channel to be a channel where I focus on Black authors, especially women of color. Women authors specifically, but definitely we'll have some men over here, but I definitely want this to be a place where we can explore and read, and also I want this to be a place where I extend myself as well. Like, y'all know, sci-fi isn't necessarily my thing, so I definitely am going to branch out into some sci-fi and some other things that aren't always in my wheelhouse either, so that we can have a conversation and dialogue. So this book is about Jenna. Jenna is the main character. we start off this book and we learn about a little bit about Jenna. Jenna sort of had a midlife meltdown. I don't want to call it a midlife crisis because she's still in her 30s, so it really ain't a midlife crisis. But she was in the fashion industry. She was the who's who. She was hanging out with the Anna Wintours. She was at all of the fashion weeks. She was the who's who. She was a go-to girl in fashion, right? She had risen in the ranks. And then we weren't sure what happened. Like at the beginning of the book, it seemed real aloof what happened to her. You know what, Marla? I'm not playing with you, but you know what? You ain't wrong. you ain't wrong. But I don't want to be disrespectful, you know. In the beginning of the book, when they were talking about, she was talking about how she had to go back home and live with her family in Virginia, and she had to start all over, and she had lost it all, and she became a laughing stock. Y'all know what? The first thing that came in my mind, I said, oh, she was on drugs. She done got strung out and lost her job. Because you think about the world of high fashion, and we hear about the fast lifestyle and the drugs and the alcohol and so many people getting caught up, right? So that's what I was thinking in my mind. I said, oh, this woman, then she was a good old drug addict and she done got strung out. But what we find out later on is that basically she broke up with her man, honey. She had been with her. Now she's a black woman. The guy she was dating was a white man. And what we find out, hey, little baby. And what we find out is he wouldn't commit to marriage. And so she broke up with him. And then he soon after seemed like he sort of bounced back a little bit faster than she bounced back. And she sort of had like a whole meltdown. And it was affecting her job. She was like acting crazy at work, and she was on the cover of Page 6 with her shenanigans. She was sort of stalking the guy. Like it was some outside the box stuff. Like it wasn't that, right. They weren't as clear. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's going to give, if you know, I know some people might be ahead of me in the book, so I don't know if they're going to get but when they finally told us what the situation was, I was like, that's it. Like she went home and lost everything and is broke now and living at her parents' house in rural Virginia and cut all her hair off. Like the way they made it seem like that this woman lost everything. And I'm like, okay, well, that's drug type stuff. Like, I get it, breaking up with a man and it being a hard breakup. Like, I get it, but I just felt like, I don't know. Y'all see what I'm saying? I was a little, at least up until this point, I'm going to say this, up until this point, I was sort of a little disappointed in how they did that. Because I just felt like that could have dug deeper and gave us something a little deeper. But yeah. So, but we see that she is now working she's back in New York. She done moved back to New York. She's ready to get back into the, workforce. She's broke, don't have no whole lot of money. She's living in like a little, hole in the wall type apartment as compared to the penthouse lifestyle that she used to live. And she's now working for her nemesis, okay? A woman by the name of Darcy. Now, Darcy is a good old bitch, okay? Darcy is a good old bitch. And we find out that Darcy and Jenna met each other because they were actually dating the same man. And poor naive Jenna thought that this was going to be her husband. And come to find out, he was already engaged to Darcy. And she called herself showing up at his house one night to surprise him and see if, you know how we women do when we think we the only woman and we just popping up, we doing those pop-ups. Well, she got popped up because Darcy opened the door and was like, bitch, who are you? And we find out that, like I said, Darcy is that bitch. And so from that point on, they were nemesis. They dated, it seemed like they dated the same man a couple of times. But they both worked in the fashion industry. And so they ran in the same circles. And so they just kept running into each other. It was just like an ongoing cycle of them running into each other. So, but she sort of, I don't know if it's, if she had pity on her. But what it sounds like is that Darcy was like, listen, I don't really like you a whole lot, but you are good at what you do. And I'm one of those people that I can look past how I feel about you personally and feel like if you can help me professionally, then that's what it's going to be. But please be clear that the minute Darcy feel like she get everything she can get out of Jenna, she gonna kick Jenna ass to the curb because there's no love lost there. She ain't feeling Miss Jenna. And Jenna is a fish out of water. She is in her 30s. She is the oldest woman in the office. They all look at her like the old lady, you know. She don't know nothing about Instagram. She don't know nothing about hashtags. She don't know nothing about all these different apps and websites and all of that. All of that is above her. It is all over her head. And she has been hired. She's doing sort of like a Dear John type column where people are writing her about their fashion questions and emergency type situations. But she's also hired to get an online sort of like a vlogging type series, like an online magazine situation where they're filming segments and they're going to upload it to something equivalent to like a YouTube channel. And there'll be these different segments, right? And so, you know, we learn, like I said, we learn about Miss Jenna, we learn about Darcy and their checkered past or whatever. And we find out that Jenna got invited. We find out who, you know, she's got a couple of really good girlfriends, you know, they have checkered backgrounds. One is a model, one is this, one is that. And they invite her to an industry party. And this is going to be her first industry party since her breakdown. So it's a big deal. You know, it's like her coming out party. You know, they get her a cute outfit. That's, you know, something she couldn't afford right now. And they're staying at a nice hotel, like, you know, like a Ritz-Carlton type hotel. And that's where it's her friend is produced a coffee table book. And so they're going to, they're there for the party. And her friend actually even tried to hook her up, baby, but she wasn't feeling the guy that her friend tried to hook her up with. And somehow or another, she gravitates into a guy who's there to pick up his friend, okay? And they end up, because by this time, Jenna is drunk, child, and she see the dude, he's young, and she like, I don't care. And they get to kissing, and they get to getting into some other things, and they damn near got into some whole other things right there in the middle of the party. Until her friend came along and yanked her away and was like, girl, have you lost your mind? Like, this is not how we wanted you to come out. Like, you were supposed to be having your coming out party, and this is not the coming out that we expected, okay? So what we need you to do is go upstairs to that hotel room we done booked and sleep this shit off, okay? Because you're doing a whole lot right now. And, you know, she does, but the next day she feels good. She was like, listen, I am back. I mean, even though I was coming on to the young tenderoni, you know, but I am feeling myself right now. I'm feeling like I got something good going on. And I'm going to skip the doodah on to work. Well, she skipped the doodahs on to work, and she's sitting at her desk feeling good about everything, loving life and all that. And baby, guess what? Darcy comes through there and wants to introduce her to the person that's going to be helping her film her segments for this new online magazine situation. Now, we found out at the party that the dude went to USC, you know, USC film school and all that good stuff. Baby, we look up and it is the dude from the party. His name is Eric. And that ain't even the worst part. The worst part ain't the fact that this is the guy she gonna have to work with. The worst part is that it is Darcy's son. Bitch, what? Listen, it is Darcy's son, y'all. Now, what we find out about Miss Darcy, we get a little bit about her background. So we find out that Miss Darcy came from the projects, right? But she was in private school and all these different, you know, activities or whatever. And one night she just decided she was tired of being a virgin. And so she slept with the neighborhood bum. And of course, it was a one and done. She pops up pregnant. Her family disowns her, puts her out. She ends up giving the baby to the father and the family of the father. And she goes off, finishes high school, and starts her life in the fashion industry. Because I told y'all, Darcy is a full-fledged you-know-what. Eric, who, I mean, his daddy wasn't he was a musician. He ain't making a whole lot of money. Yeah, he was probably a little bum-ish, but he was a good dad. He raised Eric, took him to the park, spent time with them. And the mom really did more, AKA Eric's grandmama, really did more than Eric's dad did. But he had a good, stable, household, good, stable life. And his mom would come through from time to time, drop some money, might be taking him out to eat to a nice restaurant or something, but she really couldn't be bothered until the daddy died. Once the daddy died, she came and scooped Eric up and whisked him off, put him in probably because by this time she was a mover and shaker. She had worked her way up the ladder and she was a mover and shaker in the fashion industry. And so she could afford to put him in. So she put him in one of the, probably one of the most elite private schools in New York. And he went from probably PS 171 in New York to this elite prep school where he was like, the only little black kid in the room. And so he became really good friends with, a white kid who sort of showed him the ropes, and they're still best friends. Now the white kid is he ain't really doing nothing but smoking weed all day and sleeping with different women, but him and Eric are still really, really good friends. We also find out that Eric and his mom, they don't have the best relationship. Like, he went to USC film school. He won a bunch of like student film projects, but when it was all over said and done, he couldn't really get a job in the industry. So he found himself back in New York, broke, because he doesn't want to live off of his mom and he doesn't want to trade on his mother's name because he really don't like her that much. And so she gave him the job to sort of help him out. Okay. Now we have all of that. Now, of course, Jenna is so not here for working with Eric. I mean, she's nervous about working with Eric. She's scared about people finding out what happened between her and Eric. She is definitely scared about Darcy finding out. And then there's the whole age difference. Like, once she was introduced to Eric, she literally was like, oh my gosh, like, I literally remember you being a little kid running around, like, while I was already grown. And she is making this way hard. Like, he is like, listen, it happened. It is what it is. I don't know why you tripping. But she is making it way, way, way hard, because she is really sitting there like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So they finally come up with this segment for their first little segment. She wants to talk to this elusive, German shoe designer who never talks to the media. And he was like, yeah, but that might not be the best look. Like, we need to find something that's going to get everybody's attention. That's going to be a mover and shaker. Like, yes, everybody loves this person's shoes, but because nobody really knows who they are, like, it's not a magazine where people are reading an article and you can create a scene for them. It is going to be all visual. So is this going to be visually pleasing just because this person is elusive and normally wouldn't speak to the media, and you got friends that are getting her to talk? Is it going to be worth filming? And she convinces him, listen, I'm the one that, with all the experience. I know what the hell I'm doing. You just film it and you just shut up and film it, They get to this lady's apartment. Listen, the woman is a little eccentric. That's a really nice way of saying it. And she don't really get him nothing. It was a hard shoot. She ain't really giving him nothing. And Eric is sitting there looking at her like, I told you so. And she's looking at Eric like, shut the hell up, because I know you told me. And it ends up being really bad. I mean, really bad. And they end up being mad at each other. He's mad because he was like, I tried to tell her, and she don't want to listen to me because she think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. And she's mad because she was like, listen, I feel real stupid right now because everything I said wasn't going to happen is exactly what happened. And now I look incompetent, and now I look like I don't know what I'm doing. And both of them are afraid of showing that footage to his mama because they already know what his mama is going to say. And then there's that sexual tension between the two of them, because let's be clear, Jenna like him and he like her. And he's okay with the situation. Like, I think that, he would sleep with Jenna tomorrow if she would let him. But she is so not here for the whole situation, which I 100% understand. I wouldn't be here for it either. Like, that, I absolutely wouldn't be here for it either. Like, come on, you can't sleep with them. You can't do that. So I understand. I wouldn't be here for it either. And so the last part where I left off, I tried to get to chapter 10. I didn't quite get to chapter 10. I think I'm in chapter 8. But the last part I left off was when they was presenting that piece of mess to Darcy, and Darcy is looking at both of them like, what in the Sam hell is this? What in the Sam hell is this? What am I supposed to do with it? This is horrible. And please don't think that I won't fire both of y'all's asses. Okay? I'm doing both y'all a favor. So I'm gonna need y'all to get it together, or both y'all gonna be gone. Because to say what I need in my life. And so that is pretty much the first 7 or 8 chapters. Okay. So how y'all feeling about the book so far? I know some of y'all might be further than I am, but how y'all feeling about the book so far? China, it sounds like you read the book. Marla, did you read the book? Yeah, I think you read the book too. So what do y'all think? How y'all feeling about the book? You said the attraction is undeniable. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely attraction there. I mean, the fact that this woman was ready to just lay down with this dude, right then and there, lets you know that there was definitely some attraction there. And there's attraction on his part as well. We know that he's got the ex-girlfriend, the ballerina that lives in LA. She's not really his girlfriend, she's the ex-girlfriend. But it was they had that breakup, like they sort of had that breakup like, well, we're only not together because we don't live in the same place anymore. And she actually wanted to come to New York when he came to New York, and he told her, no, I don't want you transfer, because she's still in college. I don't want you transferring schools, and she's a ballerina working with the LA, company, and I don't want you coming to New York, and I don't want you giving up that much for me. So it's not that he doesn't love her, but she's like, I don't want you giving up that much for me. So, he still kind of has that little bit of an entanglement there. And quiet as it's kept, Jenna still got a little bit of an entanglement with the boyfriend. I mean, I don't think she's that situation is interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think we're done with him. Like we had a little conversation where he reached out to her and he was like, I'm glad to see you back in New York. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, that's fine. But he got a whole nother girlfriend, and he was like, listen, I waited for you. And that's when we found out that he didn't break up with her. He just told her he wasn't ready to get married. And they've been together for like 12 years. And she was like, okay, well, the hell, we've been together for 10 years. If you ain't trying to get married, what are we doing? And so again, he was like, well, I waited for you to come back. Like, I don't know how long I was supposed to wait for you. I really loved you. I didn't break up with you. I didn't leave you. I just told you I wasn't ready to get married. So I like it, gives a good rom-com. Yeah, I definitely could see this being a good rom-com. I do, China. Based on what I've read so far, I don't think I have all of the answers because there's way too much of this book left for me to have all of the answers. But we definitely see the sexual tension between Eric and Jenna. But there's definitely going to be some bumps in that road, honey. It's the workplace romance that's more taboo. Yeah, you definitely don't want to shit where you lay. Like, that is definitely not a good, that's definitely not a good idea. You've been wearing your mini skirts, wearing braids, trying to catch you a tenderoni. Listen, Marla, I'm trying to catch me a good tenderoni too, child. You said her career trajectory still doesn't make sense. What you mean by that, China? Because I'm going to tell you, I don't disagree with you. So what I mean by what you mean by that, I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying. I just want to understand what you, because it's still a lot of unanswered questions for me. And like I said, I'm not done with the book. And so maybe there's some stuff that's down the pike, but it's still some stuff that just don't make no sense to me. And we're going, again, I've never read a book by Tia Williams before, so I don't know if this is her writing style. But yeah, there's still some stuff that ain't making no whole lot of sense to me. Yeah. It's not making a whole lot of sense to me, baby. So I'm gonna give a reminder when I do. I didn't like the final project that was their success, but okay. Well, I haven't gotten that far yet, so I have to wait till I get that far. I know you finished the book, child. I know you finished it. So I'm on chapter, where did I leave off reading today? I left off at the end of chapter 8. So I'm still doing like 9, 10, 11. I'm gonna try to get to because like I said, we're gonna finish this up. I know some of y'all who started reading when I told y'all we was gonna start reading, y'all are already ahead of me or done with the book. So I'm gonna try to get through it as fast as possible. Now, I have not heard great things about The Coldest Winter Ever. So I'm not sure if I still want to make that our next book. We'll have to make I don't know. We have to have a think. Y'all let me know which y'all. China White made a comment earlier. You must have already read it and you said it wasn't good. I heard that it gets good like towards the end, but at the beginning you are really confused and you're really sitting there like, what the hell? And I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the hard part about sequels, especially something that's been this long anticipated, is that you don't want to be disappointed. So if it's going to disappoint me, I'd rather just keep with my memories of The Coldest Winter Ever. I don't know. Her placement in the industry leaves room for a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe she was more of a socialite. Yeah, I just think that a lot of those first couple of chapters were, to me, very choppy. But I feel the same way about Darcy. You're going to tell me that you got pregnant in high school, your family put you out the house, but yet you still managed to graduate from high school on time, go to college, and somehow work your way up the corporate ladder in the fashion industry. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just felt like that was real choppy too. It was a lot of unanswered questions in that story as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you giving your child away made sense. I mean, not giving the child away, but letting the father raise the child. But it's still, I mean, y'all know what I'm saying? That still was a little choppy to me too. That still was a little choppy to me. If y'all know what I'm saying. A lot of poetic license. Yeah, Marla, I feel that way too. I'll wait until, like I said, I'm gonna keep reading it because I like the book. I'm not behind because I don't like the book. I'm really behind because there's been a lot of other stuff, but I really do like the book. Now that's not a problem. I really do like the book. So yeah, I don't know. I have a couple of weeks to figure it out what we're gonna do for June. I also wanted to do Cicely Tyson's memoir, which I heard was really good, and it was on backlog, of course, a couple of months ago when she first passed, because the book had just come out right before she passed, and then she passed, and of course, the book was on back order. So I'm thinking that maybe by now it might be available, and so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do Cicely Tyson's memoir next month, and then I know what book I want to do for July, because I found this book and it sounded like a really, really good book, but it wasn't available until July. So I put it on my saved list on Amazon so I can order me a copy when it came out, but it looked like it wasn't going to be released until sometime in July. So but I'm gonna focus on this. So you'll get the next 3 chapters. I'll upload that video this week. I'll probably give you the next 6 chapters this week. And then we'll be back here next Monday and we'll talk about up until that point. And I'll start announcing this on my regular lives again, because again, I got away from it. So that way, people will know that we back and we back on schedule. Without giving away the plot, The Coldest Winter Ever reads like rudimentary level dogma. I have so many critiques. Ooh. You would say stick with my memories? Okay. I mean, honestly, I have not heard anybody say anything good. I'm going to be honest. I ain't heard nobody say nothing good. The best critiques of it I've heard were that towards the end it got good. Like the last part. But I'm like, I don't want to suffer through the beginning just to get to the end for it to make sense. I can't. I'm not that person. Now, some people can read those types of books because it's different strokes for different folks. That's like, for me, as much as I respect the hell out of Toni Morrison, I don't enjoy her books. I just don't. I've read 2 of her books I've enjoyed. I've tried to read a few others and I just can't get through them. I respect the hell out of Toni Morrison. I love Toni Morrison. Her books just aren't for me. Same thing with Alice Walker. I respect the hell out of Alice Walker, but outside of The Color Purple, I just haven't been able to read a lot of her books. Now, I read The Color Purple after I'd seen the movie and I kind of knew what I was reading. I was able to follow it because I'd seen the movie, you know, and there was somebody else. But I'm a very literal reader. I just give me a beginning, a middle, and an end. I don't like just give me a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yeah, people think that's not intellectual of me. Oh, well, I guess I'm just not an intellectual. But I can't do the, yeah, boo, you know what I'm saying? The end basically was a recap of the first book. Oh, I got you. Okay. So maybe that's why people like the end, because if it kind of took them back to what they loved about The Coldest Winter Ever, maybe that's why. Yeah, that's where I think, the Temple of My Familiar. Yeah, that was, I remember that. I think I was in college when that came out. And I was like, yes, no, ma'am. I don't want to read about none of that. I'm not interested in it. I don't want to read nothing about it. No, ma'am. Not for me. It's a no from me, dog. It is a no from me, dog. So. Have you read Stamped? No. Hold on. Let me write that down. Stamped. Hold on. Where's my pen? Who's that by? Do you know who that's by? I mean, I can always just look it up. I'm sure it's not a whole lot of books called Stamped, but Let's see, let me write book. Suggestion. I'll look it up, Miss Marla. Well, you guys, we're going to end it here. I know that wasn't a full hour, but we're going to end it here for today. I will be on my regular time at 6:30 over on the main channel. I will go back to making the announcements and getting everybody over here to join the conversation by Jason Reynolds. Okay, Jason Reynolds. Got it. Okay, I'm going to look it up. I'll see if it's on Audible. But I hope to see you guys on the other side at 6:30. We're gonna probably talk a lot about TV talk tonight. Because it wasn't really a whole lot of celebrity stuff going on. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which won't a whole lot. We'll talk a little Married to Medicine, and we are gonna talk Pose, baby. Pose. Okay. So I'll see y'all on the other hand. Ibram Kent. Wait a minute, hold on. I think I've heard of him before. That name sounds familiar. I think that name sounds familiar. Whew, excuse me. But yeah, so I will see y'all on the other side, and we will definitely be on the lookout for uploads of the next couple of chapters. Like I said, I've been reading it, so we're gonna get the next couple of chapters up, and we'll be back here next Monday. We'll be back here next Monday to talk about those chapters. All right. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for being patient with me. We back on schedule though. We are back on schedule. Thank y'all for being patient. Mwah. I'll see y'all later.